Okay. I just wanted to encourage anyone who has not seen the Hannibal series on Hulu with Mad Mikkelsen and Laurence Fishburne. Yes, you're right. I am way behind the times on this one. In 2014, 2015, I had a little something else going on. So I wasn't even aware of anything. And I'm so glad that I am now able to see it. And I'm on the very end of season 3, and that's it. There were only 3 seasons. And Laurence Fishburne and Mad Mikkelsen is they are so good in this. And there are several guest stars that you'd be surprised. Very, really great, poignant, deep stuff. In many ways, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, supposedly, depends, and Will Graham, their relationship echoes that of Achilles and Patroclus from the Iliad. And it's so fitting. I mean, it's so fitting at the end. I think the last time or actually in the last, I haven't actually seen the very final one, and I stopped for a moment. But the way he said goodbye, Hannibal. It was so vulnerable. Everybody's so vulnerable and good in this. Laurence Fishburne is amazing. His choices are incredible. So vulnerable, so good. And Mad Mikkelsen, oh my God, don't even get me started on that man, that man, that man. Married to an older woman, by the way. Anyway. Okay, so, if you know anything about the Iliad and Patroclus and Achilles' affection, they had a mutual affection for each other that was very strong. And it's embodied and echoed in this relationship between Will and Hannibal. And it's just stellar. Okay. One point also, Mad Mikkelsen alludes to Faustus by Marlowe, but really Dr. Faustus, which to me, this was a pivotal point in my life. I'd already decided that no one's ever going to die for me. At the age of 8 or 9, I walked out into my grandmother's backyard and looked up at the sky and said, no one's ever going to, I was alone. And I said, no one's ever going to die for me. The president will never die for me. I listed all these famous people who will never die for me. 8 and 9 years old is when I was a budding atheist. And then by the time I saw Dr. Faustus with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, that really sealed the deal with me. Because how can you say, oh, what a great and wonderful God, or, there was a lot of, if you don't want to read it, just see the Dr. Faustus with Richard Burton. I was mad about Richard Burton anyway, so he could do no wrong in my mind, but just see the Dr. Faustus with Elizabeth and Richard. So anyway, Dr. Lecter said, when he saw Dr. Faustus or read Dr. Faustus, he didn't say Faust, I'm pretty sure he said Dr. Faustus, that he sided with Mephistopheles, and I was like, yes, my brother man. Anyway, moving on to X. Okay, this film is a recent film. I think it was just released in 2021, but it's set in the 70s. It's a troupe of videographers who are trying to up the ante or the quality or bring home porn to the level of cinema. And so they rented a quote-unquote boarding house in the back of an old farm where some old people lived. And they were going to shoot it out there. And it's, in the 70s, and the score is the 70s and everything. And So for a while there, I was thinking, this is a horror film, right? There's a lot of porny stuff going on here. But they finally get around to the horror part out of it, and it keeps going and it doesn't stop. But so get past the porny stuff, and you'll be happy. But the real message here is, and this is a spoiler alert, okay, you know, there's a final girl in every horror film. And this final girl is no virgin, finally. But that's the whole thing. Guess who the monsters are? The hideous, you know, terror, rage-filled, you know, destructoid, you know, murderers, and, you know, poke them and chop them up and cut them and throw them in the, you know, all that stuff. The old, decrepit, ancient-looking, sad old people. This couple. And it's about youth, and it's about unapologetic choices. There's a real underlying message here. And so I don't want to, you know, corrupt anyone, but, you know, we're animals. We're mammals. And in my humble opinion, we're lucky. So make this life count. Just my opinion. See Hannibal. If you haven't seen it, you're going to be riveted. It's so good. So very good. I hate doing that. Why do I do that? That is so stupid. Forgive that. Forget. I'm going to cut that out. I probably won't.